ccsgeology.org.
Welcome friends to our channel Bangla. Hope you all are doing well. For the last couple of days we received a large number of requests for a video on depressions. It took little time as because of some research work updates. Today our discussions will cover possible symptoms, cause, impact, scientific explanations, diagnosis, treatment, daily habits, diet, etc. related to depressions. All are requested to watch the video till end to experience an unforgettable journey, to say goodbye depression. If you like the video, then please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button. Here comes depression, an unforgettable journey to say goodbye. Depression is a very common mental disorder. Like 264 million people are now suffering from depressions, and close to 8 lakhs people die due to suicide each and every year. Depression, this particular discussion sessions covering some introduction, sadness, depressions and their differences, symptoms, impact, biochemical issues according to the research updates we have, serotonin, dopamine, Acetyl-L-Carnitine, norepinephrine. Possible diagnosis and barrier of treatments are also very important features of depressions, and some responses are there from World Health Organizations. Our daily habits may change our depression modes, and we got some feedback from students and other peoples from different area of our society through a survey, and so we will put their remarks here also and suggestive food. So depression affecting mood and actually general outlook, loss of interactions in activities, or feeling sad and down. Clinical depression is more than just a feeling sad. Serious medical condition is depressions, long lasting and with moderate severe intensity. Most importantly, depression results from a complex interaction of social, psychological and biological factors. Sadness, just the normal human emotions triggered by different situations. So when something changes, our emotional heart fades. When we have adjusted or gotten over the loss or disappointment, our sadness remits. And depression's abnormal emotional state. In depression, we feel sad about everything surrounding us. Does not necessarily require a difficult event or situations, a loss or a change of circumstances as a trigger. Depression colors all aspects of our lives, making everything less enjoyable, less interesting, less important, less lovable. Depression saps our energy, motivation, and ability to experience joy, pleasure, excitement, anticipation, satisfaction, connection, and meaning. Some very common symptoms of depressions include sadness, tiredness, trouble focusing or concentrating, unhappiness, anger, irritability, frustrations, loss of interest in pleasurable or fun activities, sleep issues, too much or too little, whatever, no energy, craving unhealthy foods, anxiety, isolation, restlessness, worrying, trouble thinking clearly or making decisions, poor performance at work or school, dropping out of activities, strain on relationships, suicidal thoughts or tendencies, pain like headache or muscle ache, etc., drugs or alcohol abuse. Some causes of discussions. So we'll discuss now about some possible causes like situational causes of depression. Trauma, a big change or struggle in life, can trigger a cause of depression. Losing a loved one, being fired, having financial troubles, or undergoing a severe changes can have a big impact actually on our mind. Depression results from a complex interaction. We know that social, psychological, and biological factors. People who have gone through adverse life events like unemployment, bereavement, and psychological trauma are more likely to develop depression. Biochemical issue, neurotransmitter in the brain like especially serotonin, dopamine affect feeling of happiness and pleasure and may be out of balance in people with depressions. Acetyl-L-Carnitine is another important biomolecule. So we'll discuss about that particular molecules later part of our video. Requesting all of you to view the video till the end to get all those informations you need to say depression goodbye. Hormonal changes in hormone productions or functions could lead to the onset of depressive states. Any change in hormone states like including menopause, childbirth, thyroid problems or other disorders could cause depression. Impact of depression: structural and connective changes on the brain, just reduced functionality of hippocampus, prefrontal cortex and amygdala. The prefrontal cortex and amygdala work together to control emotional responses and the recognition of emotional cues in other people. So this can potentially contribute to reductions in empathy in individuals who have postpartum depressions. So postpartum depression is very important one. The hippocampus is thought to be principally involved in strong long-term memories and in making those memories resistant to forgetting. Though this is a matter of debate, it is also thought to play an important role in spatial processing or navigation. Oxygen restriction depression has been linked to reduced oxygen in the body. These changes may be due to changes in breathing caused by depression, but which comes first and causes the other remains unknown. A cellular factor produced in response to the brain not getting enough oxygen, that is a hypoxia condition, is elevated in specific immune cells found in people with major depressive disorders and bipolar disorder. As brain is highly sensitive to reduction in oxygen, which can lead to inflammation, brain cell injury, brain cell death. In biochemical issue, most important biochemical factors related to depression: dopamine, serotonin, Acetyl-L-Carnitine or epinephrine, etc. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter, plays a big role in motivation and reward. If you have ever worked hard to reach a goal, the satisfactions when you achieve it is partly due to a rush of dopamine. Don't forget that. Dopamine is associated with wakefulness. Drugs that increase dopamine levels such as cocaine or amphetamines typically increases alertness. Experts believe these symptoms are linked to dysfunctions with your dopamine system. They also believe these dysfunctions might be triggered short or long stress, pain or trauma. Low motivation, feeling helpless, a loss of interest in things that is used to interest in previous stages of your life. Studies by positive emission tomography scanning in normal humans shows that a steady loss of dopamine receptors occurs in the basal ganglion with age. The loss is greater in men than in women. Another important issue is sleep-wake cycle, actually regulated by a small gland in the brain called pineal gland. The pineal gland receives and interprets light and darkness signals from the eyes. Chemical messenger translates these signals into the productions of melatonin, a hormone that makes you feel sleepy. The pineal gland has receptors for both dopamine and serotonin. Melatonin, also referred as sleep hormone, helps to prepare our body for sleep. People who don't make enough of it at night can struggle for that particular and fall asleep. Factors that may cause low levels at night: stress, smoking, exposure to too much light at nights may be considered as use of mobiles or other social network systems, not getting enough natural light during the day, shift work and aging all affects melatonin productions according to F. Osgood 2005 research papers. Melatonin supplements may help with certain conditions such as jet lag, delayed sleep, wakefulness disorder, and some sleep disorder in children, and anxiety before and after surgery. Melatonin produced by the pineal glands at night influences circadian and seasonal rhythm. The pineal gland translates the light signal received by the retina into a language understandable to the rest of the body. Dopamine acts in the pineal gland. All animals respond to cycles of light and dark with various patterns in sleepings, feedings, body temperature alterations, and other biological functions. Insomnia, very common among depressed patients. People with insomnia have a tenfold risk of developing depressions. They can't sleep, and compared with those who sleep well. Regulation of melatonin section is important to consider. Receptors for norepinephrine and dopamine are recorded in pineal glands. Dopamine, while interaction with its receptors, it inhibits the effect of norepinephrine, which means a decrease in the production and release of melatonin. Interestingly, dopamine receptors only appear in the pineal gland toward the end of the night as the dark period closes. So formation of this heteromere is an effective mechanism to stop melatonin productions when the day begins and wake up the brain, according to Sergio et al. 2012. Sleep deprivation decreases the availability of certain types of dopamine receptors. With fewer receptors, dopamine does not have anywhere to attach to, making it hard to stay awake. Serotonin is also related to rapid eye movements. Body needs serotonin from your pineal glands in order to produce melatonin. Serotonin came by chemical name is 5-hydroxytryptamine, related to tryptophan amino acids, and rich in blood platelets and then gastrointestinal tract regions. Brain stem in the middle revenue play another source of production of serotonin. Most commonly, people are aware of serotonin roles in the central nervous system. Mood and memory regulation is another issue for serotonin according to I Lysine and Methionine 2014. In fact, most of the serotonin in your body is found in your gut. Most interesting point to be considered, not in your brain. Not only do the intestines produce almost all the body's serotonin supply, but serotonin is required there to promote healthy digestion. So here we have one conclusory remark that the digestion is also related to some extent to depression. Elsewhere in the body, serotonin also helps with sleep, sexual functions, bone health, and blood clotting. So in every respect, serotonin is very important biomolecules. Nutritional deficiency from vitamin B6, vitamin D, tryptophan amino acid may lead to cause of low level of serotonin. Acetyl-L-Carnitine, another very important terminology. We have individuals with major depressive disorder have low level of these molecules. Acetyl-L-Carnitine used for a variety of mental disorders including Alzheimer's disease, age-related memory loss, late life depression, thinking problem related to alcoholism. It has many roles to play that helps our body to produce energy, potential biomarker to evaluate the mental conditions, regulate energy metabolism in the brain to ensure continuous energy supply in brain, critical for hippocampal function and several behavioral domains. L-carnitine, acetyl-L-carnitine are used to help the body turn fat into energy. Body can produce L-carnitine out of the amino acid lysine and methionine. So lysine, methionine rich food resources are very important. So we'll discuss about the diet we need to follow to come out from the depression effects the later part of our video. So suggest all of you to watch the video till the end, and if you like the video then please do subscribe and like. To produce sufficient amount of LAC, we also need plenty of vitamin C. In addition to the L-carnitine produced in your body, you can also obtain some small amounts of other animal resources like meat and fish. LAC impact on brain. So it is a very important issue. Acetyl-carnitine may help to prevent age-related mental decline and improve markers of learning. Some other roles played by LAC like recovery, improve exercise recovery, many cases may increase oxygen supply to your muscles, may increase blood flow, nitric oxide productions, may reduce muscle soreness after exercise, may increase the production of red blood cells which transport oxygen throughout your body and muscles. So in every respect, acetyl-L-carnitine is important. Karla Naska discovered acetyl-L-carnitine as a noble modulator of brain, varying with a possible new treatments for depressions that acts by turning specific genes on and off related to the neurotransmitter glutamates. Naska's animal studies suggest that acetyl-L-carnitine, a crucial mediator of fat metabolism and energy production throughout the body, plays a special role in the brain where it works at least in part by preventing the excessive firing of excited nerve cells in brain regions called the hippocampus and frontal regions. Nastalia Razgon discovered link between depression and low blood level of acetyl-L-carnitine for the first time in human at Stanford University School of Medicine. She described the finding as an exciting addition to our understanding of the mechanism of depressive illness. Low blood levels of acetyl-L-carnitine track with severity and duration of depression. Acetyl-L-carnitine levels were also lower among those patients reporting childhood history of abuse, neglect, poverty, or exposure to violence. Possible diagnosis and barrier for treatment. Some real facts. Effective treatments for mental disorder between 76% and 85% of people in low and middle income countries receives no treatment for their disorders. Lack of trained health care providers, lack of resources. These are the basic reasons they have. What to do? There are effective psychological and pharmacological treatments for moderate and severe depressions. Many people who receive effective treatments for depressions will go on to live healthy and happy lives. For some, depressions may be a lifelong challenge that requires treatments on a long-term basis. Diagnosis sections, diagnosis depression, doctors will do some full examinations, get your medical history, may prefer or suggest to some psychiatrist for a long in-depth evaluations. Healthcare providers may offer some psychological treatments including behavioral activation, cognitive behavioral therapy, interpersonal psychotherapy, etc. Prevention programs have been shown to reduce depressions. Effective community approaches to prevent depression include school-based program to enhance a pattern of positive thinking in children and adolescents. Then interventions for parents of children with behavioral problems may reduce parental depressive symptoms and improve outcomes for their children. Exercise programs for the elderly can also be effective in depression prevention. World Health Organization took some response like Gap Action Program, Manual Group Interpersonal Therapy. In Gap Action Program aims to help countries increase service for people with mental, neurological and substance use disorder through care provided by health workers. And in Manual Group Interpersonal Therapy for Depression describes group treatments of depressions. Before we proceed towards our daily habits and possible way out of depression, here are some feedback from students. This one, Exploring Depression by Triporni Jana. Different moods, and here the most interesting comments from Shita Malakar of Ramohan College. Educate yourself and become your own advocates.
Not all people have the luxury of talking their hearts out to their close persons. In such a world where despite having everything in our grasp we've become loners, self-care is the best way to protect ourselves from claws of depressions ever ready to pounce. Little hobbies like doing yoga, dancing, painting, gardening, learning new languages, music, crafting, reading and writing stories, playing instruments, and engaging with sports can comfort us from within. We have to become the best friend and supporter to ourselves, as we can only cast others' negativity away with our own positivity.
There are some core practices that go a long way towards keeping depressions at bay, even though the most trying times. Journaling. Writing is a great way to release emotions. It is unfiltered thoughts, where you can speak your mind without editing. No judgment, no criticism or condemnations from others. It allows you to explore emotions on a level that you may not necessarily always consider when thinking, but somehow come to you as you put a pen to paper. Another one is adequate sleep with short nap is needed. Our immune systems repair itself. Our brain rests and grow and restore energy for the next day. Yet we are constantly overworking ourselves, putting ourselves in stressful situations and not getting enough sleep. Exercise produces natural endorphins, which help put us in a good mood. Your ability to learn also improves immediately following exercise. John Rattley has done fascinating research work on children and exercise. Your level of serotonin might get low if you don't get out the sun regularly and not getting enough exposure to sunlight. Try to spend 10 to 15 minutes outside in the sun each day. Sunlight also boosts your vitamin D levels, which is needed for serotonin productions. Drink plenty of water. Dehydration is often overlooked, but our body is made up of 95% of water. When it does not have enough, we often feel lethargic, grumpy, and get religious. We also tend to mistake hunger for thirst. So before getting that bag of chips, I'll drink a glass or two of water. Soda, lemon, or flavored drinks do not count as water. Proper diet rich with dopamine, serotonin, acetyl-L-Carnitine sources, as we discuss in later part of our videos. Being social is very important. People increasingly telecommunicate, so are spending less time outside the home. Even an hour a day with someone else can boost your mood. Meditation or prayer, most people think of prayers as religious, but it does not have to be. If you hold on to all of your problems, it can easily get overwhelming and trigger into a hopelessness that spiral out of control. So take some time to let things go, think good thoughts about others, and bring your mind to a peaceful place, giving thanks. Every single person in this world has something to be thankful about every day, no matter how dire their situations. When we focus on the positiveness of our life, it helps bring more positive into our life. Even when times are bad, it is important to remember the good. And eating food, vegetables, proper diet is all very important to keep ourselves out from the depression or impact of depression. Practice some unconditional love. This may be the hardest thing of our life. If we think about unconditional love every single day, we in turn will be more loving, caring people and attract more of the same into our lives. Regular physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, has been proven to boost serotonin levels. A workout can help people manage depression and other mood disorders by also promoting cardiovascular health, improving strength and endurance, and helping to maintain a healthy weight. Your level of serotonin might get low if you don't get out in the sun regularly. Not getting enough exposure to sunlight is one theory behind why people experience depression during the short and dark days for a winter. Music therapy. Ancient therapy, the ancient Greek philosophers used music therapy. Persons with depressions were instructed to listen to dulcimer hymns. The music of tales was said to cure persons affected by a plague in Sparta around 600 BC. Music interventions have been shown to be a potential alternative for depression therapy. In modern therapy, modern music therapy originated in the 1940s after World War II. Thousands of soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder, that is PTSD, were institutionalized, unable to function in society. Community musicians began to visit veteran hospitals to play for those suffering from physical and emotional trauma. Here comes some research work like stress reduction through listening to Indian classical music during gastroscopy by Kotwal et al., reviewing the effectiveness of music interventions in treating depressions by Liberia. Numerous researchers reported the beneficial effects of music, such as strengthening awareness and sensitiveness for positive emotions like Kroom 2012, improvements of psychiatric problems, Nizami Etika 2014, group drumming, for example, help soldiers to deal with their traumatic experience while they were in the process of recovery, Ben Simpson et al. 2008. In that particular case, food to reduce depression, we have 4 major amino acids to consider: tyrosine, tryptophan, lysine, methionine. Natural ways to boost our serotonin. Many foods naturally contain serotonin, but your body also needs other nutrients such as tryptophan, vitamin B6, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acid to produce the neurotransmitter. Here are some sources: tryptophan, chicken, eggs, cheese, fish, peanuts, pumpkin, etc. For vitamin B6, we have very common potato, banana, spinach, sweet potatoes, bananas, and then chicken liver, eggs, milk, etc. For vitamin D, salmon, fish, herring, and sardines, fish, cod liver oil, egg, yolk, etc. Omega-3 fatty acids, mackerel, fish, oyster, walnuts, etc. The intestine make about 95% of your body supply of the neurotransmitter. Eating a high fiber diet that is rich in fruit and vegetables will help keep your gut bacteria healthy. Having a good balance of friendly bacteria in your intestine been linked to adequate serotonin level. This is how digestion is related to depression. Natural ways to boost dopamine: tyrosine-rich diet. We need to consider cheese, whole grains, raw oats, etc. There are some other resources. You may go through description and the slide. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let's try out the points discussed here to say goodbye to depression. If you like the video, then please don't forget to subscribe and put comments there. Thank you.